on. No fear. No fear. Okay. All righty, everybody. First and foremost, we just want to thank you for coming on out here tonight. How does it feel to be in a room with so many important people? Well, it feels good for me. I don't know about you guys, but everybody in here is so important. We all know that you're important because you came here today, and you're going to be in. You're going to be in for a great night. You're going to be in for a great evening. You're going to get some great information that's going to help your business, and you're going to get to meet us. And I'll start with me. My name is Michael Cherry, and I am the broker of record for Lifetime Realty. And it is my pleasure and honor just to have you here tonight so that you could welcome to the office. Anybody who's never been in this office before? Is there anybody here who's never seen our office? What do you think? It's gorgeous. Yes, it's really nice. It came out really great. We're really pleased with it. And we hear that a lot. People come in and they're just, wow. And that's what we wanted. We wanted you to come in and be wow. So a lot of thought, a lot of energy, and even some sweat went into the walls. I did have a pleasure of putting my own signature on some of the walls, going back in the day. You know, coming out of high school, what do? You get in construction. So I just used some of that old skill just to put into those walls. So nice to be in an office that you know that you had something to do with putting that wall there. So with that, I would like to call up our first co-owner. First co-owner, which is going to be Jamie Kim. Jamie, where are you? Come on up, Jamie. So the first thing we're going to do before I hand the microphone over to Jamie is we're going to do a raffle. So we're going to start off with a raffle. So hopefully everybody got their business card into the jar. And our first raffle will be a Starbucks card. Okay. Now that's just a taster. It's just a taster for the Starbucks card. We will have some grand prizes that we will be raffling off later, kind of like an iPad and a 30-day session with Camille. So we have some grand prizes at the end. So for right now, Jamie, if you could just dig in there and pick out a card.
Brings back a night of tropical splendor. Brings back a memory evergreen.
No. Okay, winner is Justin Druian.
Win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. Every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
There you go.
And they stay there.
Tell Justin it's a pleasure to give it to him. Okay, so I'd like to introduce Jamie Kim to you. Jamie Kim really designed all the colors and stuff in here. So when you look around and you see, how great it looks, it was her eye, it was her touch, on this office. So Jamie, here, you're going to announce the sponsors for us.
Yes. Thank you, Michael. Let's give it up for Michael. He's our broker, but he didn't volunteer to be MC. However, I think Michael's doing an amazing job, right? Yeah. So it's my honor to announce the sponsors for tonight. Without all these sponsors, we wouldn't have been here. So my heart goes out for all of you that's been contributing and helping us out in our business. So if you look at the screen or your brochure, we actually put all of their information in the brochure for you. So all these sponsors are companies and individuals that we work closely together, and they've been helping us in our real estate business as well as the fix and flip business as well. So I could confidently refer them to you guys, okay? Okay, so first up is Delwood Kitchen and Floor. Unfortunately, the CEO, Faye, she's in China. She has a large function in China, so she's not going to be able to be here. However, she does all of our flooring, kitchen. Not only that, she designs and then she installs. There are times if we're really tight on schedule, she'll bring 10 guys and finish flooring and kitchen in one day. amazing. Yeah, yeah, they're amazing. Okay, moving on. Real Value Marketplace. So Real Value, Susan Cheek from Real Value, he's here. Susan, if you want to stand up, say hi to everyone. So Susan handles our Harmony loan. Yeah, a lot of times she, gets it done in 5 days for us, which is amazing. Because yeah, in order to buy a house, Angelo, where's Angelo? Yeah, Angelo is one of our project finder, and then he wants us to close like the next day. But Susan always comes through for us. So thank you so much, Susan. Thank you. Her contact info and detailed information is all here, as well as the website. So if if you are looking for financing, quick financing, then she's the right person for you. Okay, going on. Felix is working on our project right now, Mr. Alfredo Felix, so he's not able to attend. But next up is Felix Home Improvement. So Alfredo and we go back about 10 years. He's done minimum 100 plus projects for us. So a lot of times I don't even have to be there. He just handles it on his own. Yeah, so he makes our company grow and look good. So I wanted to thank Alfredo. He might be on his way. Yeah, so you're gonna get to meet him soon. My NHD, Lena King, is our go-to person when it comes to natural hazard disclosure. So if you need natural hazard in your transaction, please contact Lena. Moving on, Ivan from Termite Control. Ivan's been in the industry for almost 30 years. So yeah, he is one of the best person to go and ask for whenever you need termite inspection done, or if you have any questions in regards to that. Okay. Yay, Lee's here. Okay, Lee from United American, Lee McMahon. Lee, do you want to stand up, say hi to everybody? Doesn't she look gorgeous? she looks great, and at the same time, she's very, very smart and brilliant. If you have any loan questions, she's the person to go to, and she's been in the industry for over 18 years. Her company's been in the industry for 25 years, so you could imagine how experienced they are, right? Okay. And we got two more. Advanced Restoration Group, they handle our mold remediation. So a lot of the projects that we buy, they are in condition where it needs to be completely gutted out. So usually first team that goes in is the mold remediation team, and then they do mold abatement, and then after that it's safe for us to go in afterwards. Yeah, so Raphael is the person for you to contact. Last but not least, Open House Interiors. So here's a coupon for you guys also. With this flyer, you get 10% off. Bruce is the CEO of the company. Bruce, do you want to stand up? Say hi. Thank you so much. So Bruce does a phenomenal job with, his team does phenomenal job. He has a group of designers that stages our home after we're done with renovation, and then they create fantasy, for all these homes, and they make it look beautiful. So, yeah, if you have any questions, his information's here, and you could go ahead and feel free to contact any of our vendors. So before I bring Michael back up, I just want to tell you that I'm very excited for you that you are here today, because tonight we have an amazing event. I can't wait till you hear Camille speak and meet her in person if you haven't, because I personally feel that she has transformed my life. So I can't wait. I really can't wait for you to meet her. She's my personal coach. Oh gosh. Thank you. Can you make it louder? So I don't want to take up too much of my time, because I want her to have more time to do her presentation. But I was really having a hard time before I met her, juggling between work and the baby. So I feel like she completely transformed my life, and then I feel like my life is back in track. So So, once you hear her speak, you resonate with what I'm going through right now. Yeah, so that's about it. And thank you all for coming out tonight. And then be prepared to receive. And you're going to be gaining so much value from tonight's event. Thank you. And let me bring up Michael. Michael!
All right, great job, Jamie. Okay, so we noticed not everybody grabbed a brochure on the way in. So be sure to get one so that you can see the sponsors and call them up, use them. That's what we put them in there for. So that any projects, any of the sponsors. Professionalism that you could use, be sure to give them a call. So with that, next I want to bring up the founder of Lifetime Realty, and me and Tommy Kim. We have been working together for 10 years now. We started an office together down in Newport Beach, and then we went out with Investy Realty and just recently changed to Lifetime Realty. So Tommy is the man behind Lifetime Realty. He is the one that really encourages, trains, motivates, and does everything for our agents so that they could be successful. So, and all he's doing is just sharing what he has accomplished with each and everyone else so that they could follow his footsteps and find the same success. So, with that, Tommy Kim. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention too. I mean, this guy's talented. Everywhere we go, he wins. We go bowling, he wins. Well, no, someone else wanted bowling. But anyways, and we go golfing, and he wins. We went to a golf tournament, he won the whole tournament. But there's one thing about him that he could do that everyone probably doesn't know about. The dude can dance. He proved it. He proved it at his wedding. First at Jamie's wedding, he created his own new dance, which I call the plane. Huh? Yeah, that's where I was going. Yeah, that's where I was going. Yeah, because he designed his own dance. I call it the plane, which he showed at Jamie's wedding. So I don't know if he's gonna do it, but maybe he'll just fly on up here. I don't know. But you should create some space because I want to welcome Tommy Kim to the stage. Come on up, Tommy.
I'm sexy and I know it. I'm sexy and I know it.
Thank you. Good evening. Yeah, not too close, right? Good evening. Well, first of all, thank you so much for coming. I want to spend just a little amount of time because I want you guys to have enough time to listen to Camille, right? She's been my peak performance coach, helping me with the company grow. Like all leaders, I truly believe that, like we if we get coaching, like to strive for betterness, then I think, that we always have room to improve. So today I just wanted to share a little thing that I was talking to Camille about, and I was reflecting what I was going to say. So I'm very thankful and excited about, fixing and flipping, investing, building apartments, land acquisitions, all the things that we're doing. But really, what really stands out for me right now is all the success that our agents are having this week, right? From Sammy back there, closed 2 deals last week, closing another deal, another listing, right? From no experience to 150,000 GCI last year. That was just amazing, right? Yeah, and Nicole back there, from buyer's agents to getting her almost $1 million listing this week. It's been amazing. And where's Cole? Yeah, Cole got a listing today. So we're grinding. We're on there. We're working on it. And you can see it back there on our boards. Like this weekend, we have agents going out, 6 open houses, helping each other. And I was really reflecting where, what's the culture that we want to create for Lifetime and so on. When I really reflected deep inside, actually, it was my mom, right? Because she's one of the, gung-ho person that I know growing up. She goes to Mexico, bring food and stuff there every 2 weeks. She does homeless, serves food and bring tons of food for homeless every week. She goes to Africa to build schools and build, all these things. And she feels so fulfilled every single time she does and come back and she shares the story, right? And I think that's sad with me, and that's one reason that I think Lifetime exists, because I really enjoy seeing these guys win every single day and then helping each other win, you know? And all this wouldn't be not even possible without, you know, the team, my peak performance coach out there, Camille, big shout out, you know? And my wife, Julie, yeah, shout out to her, yeah. So plug yourself in. We're looking for agents, strategic partners. I know you guys are here, like more vendors to work with, you know, investors, buyers, sellers, as well as, you know, just we want to network with the community and overall strive to be better every single day, right? So without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to my and our peak performance coach. She's been coaching me on weekly basis, and I've been noticing improving, you know, in myself to grow as a leader. So I want to invite Camille Rose-Soler to the stage.
Can we get another round of applause for Tommy and Michael? So I'm really honored to be here. I always get very shy and embarrassed when people talk me up. So that's something I'm even learning to receive. So every great coach should have their own coaches. So before you start working with a coach, ask them who they coach with as well. So what I want to do tonight, it's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to get a ton of information. My personal mission is to get you to achieve epic results in your business and in your life through the information that you learned tonight. And at the end of the day, the whole point of all of this is so that you create a win-win for you, your team, your family, whoever is the most important to you. So when I say tonight's going to be fun, it also means that you're going to get to interact with me. So here's what I would love for you to do. Everybody right now, just take a deep breath in. Let it out. Take another deep breath in. Let it out. And now just for a quick second, just go ahead and close your eyes and relax. Go ahead and put both feet on the floor. If you've got anything in your lap, just go ahead and put it on the chair next to you, on the floor. Make sure that your phones are silent. And go ahead and just close your eyes for a second. Ain't nobody looking at you. I'm not looking at you. Don't worry about it. But just take another deep breath in. And exhale it all out. Another deep breath in. And exhale it out. Now with your eyes still closed, I would just love for you to imagine somebody or a group of people that are extremely important to you. Whether that's your family, your team, your wife, your husband, your kids. And with your eyes softly closed, just imagine them in your mind's eye. Them playing, looking happy, enjoying themselves. Maybe you guys are on a trip that you recently went on. You're having a great conversation. So just imagining that person or these people that just mean the world to you. And with that thought in your mind, I just want you to now take a big inhale and feel out your heart. And exhale out. And with your eyes still closed, just sending them massive love and gratitude and appreciation for bringing such joy and inspiration and motivation into your life. Take another deep breath in and exhale out that gratitude. And send it to them from your chest, from your stomach, from your heart, wherever you feel it most in your body. And now with your eyes still closed, I want you to envision your business. What you do on a daily basis. The office space, the people you work with. Now for some of you that might evoke stress. For some of you it might evoke inspiration. But whatever you feel, it's fine. Just let it be. And now I want you to see that business in 6 months thriving. absolutely hitting whatever goal you set for yourself, whether that's $1 million goal, a $500,000 goal, a completely out of debt goal, working with this particular person goal, whatever that goal is for your business, whatever you absolutely could imagine in 6 months, maybe even beyond what you could imagine, see your business doing that. It's done. It's accomplished. You've done it. You've hit that mark. And then now, invite the person or people that were really important to you in that first visual to the celebration party for you achieving that goal, for you being able to accomplish whatever it is that you really wanted to accomplish, something that you didn't even think was possible. And now you're able to take them on that trip. You're able to help that person retire. You're able to give them a gift. You're able to hug them and tell them, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for believing in me, especially in the moments that I probably didn't deserve your support. And take another deep breath in and let it go. And now let the image slowly fade away and begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes and start to feel back into your body and your neck and your shoulders. You can roll your shoulders back. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and blink open your eyes. Just coming back into the room, nice and easy. You can take another deep breath in if you need to and just let it out, kind of shake it out a little bit. Okay, so now that you're back in the room, what I'd like you to do is turn to the person next to you, say hi. Ivan, you're going to have to turn to DJ John or somebody. Does anybody not have a friend or a partner that they said hi to? Anyone on their lonesome? Okay, cool. Somebody's lying to me, so I'm going to go find you, and I'm going to be your partner. And here's what I want you to do. You're going to turn to this person. You're going to say, hi, partner. And one of you is going to be person A. So if you want to be person A, go ahead and raise your hand. Who's going to be person A? Oh, perfect. You got a partner. So person A's, all my A's, raise your hand. Nice and tall. Okay, cool. Got it? So person B, you're going to go first. And this is what we're going to do. So person B, you're just going to take a minute or two, and I'll let you know when time is up. You're just going to share anything you want to share with person A about what you visualized. You can tell them who the person was. You can share what the goal was. You can talk about what you felt. You can talk about how tired you were. I don't care what you share with them. But I want you to share with them something from that moment. Whatever you did in the past, whatever it was, a minute or two that I had you do that exercise, just share with person A what it was that you experienced in that moment. And then when I say switch, person A, you're going to share with person B. And here is your challenge for everybody. When this person is sharing with you, listen intently. That's the only hint I'm going to give you. So listen intently. Okay, so person B, share with person A, and I'll let you know when to switch. And if you are ready, go ahead and switch. So now person A, share with person B. If you're done, go ahead and switch. Nicole, do you not have a partner? I caught you, girl. Uh-oh, we're gonna have to bring you up here. Come up here. You don't get a pass. Come on, Nicole. Tommy, you're gonna have to make sure Nicole gets a partner. All right, go ahead and wrap it up. We got 10 more seconds. We did switch. Yeah. It's good. You're listening so intently you didn't hear me. All right, go ahead and wrap it up. All right, fantastic. Make sure you high five your partner when you're done. So give them a nice high five. Fantastic. So as you can tell, this is going to be a little bit of an interactive workshop. And the reason that I do this, you're getting kind of like the behind the scenes. I usually don't explain to people as I'm going along, but you're a very intelligent group. So I don't want you to feel like I'm trying to manipulate any sort of situation. But really, at the end of the day, my goal is not to inform you. I mean, we're going to be talking about mastering your sales communication strategy. I'll be real with you. You can Google this and probably find a ton of tips. My goal is to help transformation happen in the moment. It's kind of the difference between going to the gym and I'm going to tell you what workouts to do versus me saying, get down and give me 20. Let's do push-ups. And you're like, no, Camille, I can't do 20. Great, do 22. I'm going to push you a little bit because if you're really here, the whole point is to get better. But the only way we get better is actually by taking action and doing it. So I just wanted to say I thank you for trusting me in this process because I know it's not comfortable. I know it's not easy. But the truth is your industry is not comfortable or easy. So the more you can flex this muscle, the more epic you're going to be at anything that you do. All it is getting used to it, because then the fear is not real anymore. Because if you realize, oh, if I do jump and I don't die, it's not that bad. I figured it out, so I can jump again and again and again. But it's the initial, oh, I don't want to talk to them. Oh, I don't want to tell them my feelings. They're going to think I'm weak. They're going to think I'm this. What's going to happen? I'm going to hide everything. And your inner power, your actual genius, the thing that I'm helping Tommy and Jamie and everyone I work with to unleash comes from that place of you being willing to jump. The nice thing about having a coach is you've got somebody to jump with. Because entrepreneurialism, being a leader, how many of you here are business owners of some sort or have owned a business at one point? It can be a very lonely road to create what you're creating. Who are you going to talk to? I mean, I could talk to my employees, but gosh, I don't want them to think I'm weak. Or I could talk to my significant other, but they're not going to understand me. There's a lot of people that you probably couldn't talk to that you want to, but you're not sure how because you're the leader. You're at the top. And so that's why it becomes very lonely. The most extreme example of this is when, unfortunately, great achievers, great creators, like, for example, Kate Spade, make the decisions that they make because it's a very lonely journey to become that great sometimes. So the work that I do as a peak performance coach and my prayer for anybody that I work with is that I make your journey so much more enjoyable and so much more productive and powerful rather than feeling like it has to be lonely. Like I'm the only guy or girl who understands what I'm doing, so I just gotta shoulder all of this burden by myself. You don't. You can still achieve greatness, but you don't have to do it on your own. So in these moments when I have you share, that's flexing the muscle of not doing it alone. As Tommy mentioned, one of the big things here at Lifetime Realty that I really admire you for culture-wise is he believes that everybody should win, and therefore everybody can help each other win. So success is only possible when shared. You don't have to completely dominate by yourself. I mean, I guess you could, but again, it's going to be a very lonely road, and there are consequences to that road. So, speaking of bravery, I'd love a brave group to share with me something that they discovered from one another in that exercise that we just did. So is there anybody who wants to share kind of like an aha moment or something that they thought was really epic to hear? Anybody want to put their goals out there so we can help them win and get to the next level? Yeah, brave souls. You too? All right, can we give these gentlemen a round of applause? I always love it. No, it warms my heart because usually, and I mean this respectfully, usually women will volunteer first because they're like, I got something to say. Yeah, I guess so. Oh, so can you, do we have another mic? Yeah, could I give them a mic? I'm really loud. Well, just for the people who want to hear. So, could you introduce yourself and what industry you're from and what office?
Should I stand up?
Even better. You're a major jumper.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Jeeth. I am technically in real estate, but I'm a tech guy. So I'm trying to help this guy build the Zillow, or the better version of Zillow, anyone would say. And
Nice.
What-
Jeeth, right?
yeah, Jeet.
Okay,
yes.
real
And-
quick, round of applause for Jeeth for standing up here. It's not easy.
Yeah.
So you realize that what you're doing right now is the #1 fear in the world. That getting on a microphone and publicly speaking is more feared than death. Congratulations, you did great.
Yeah, thank you.
So here's what I'd love for you to do, Jeeth. Just for the purpose of this exercise, can you share with me what your partner shared with you?
Well, first thing that you asked is like to envision somebody or to vision someone that you really care about. So the thing that we kind of had in common is we both visioned our son. Mine's 6 months old. His is 3 years. So we both thought of our sons, which is kind of weird because we are complete opposite. But it was kind of strange. So yeah, and the other thing is kind of like we're kind of having a lot of bumps to make the project a reality. But we're striving. We're trying to do our best. So I kind of just try to figure out what needs to be done in 6 months' time to reach the phase that we are trying to reach. So that was completely different to what he thought of. But we kind of are on the same page, I would say.
Nice. And so was there anything that really stuck out to you other than you both thinking of your sons?
Not really.
Good. All right. Round of applause for Jeeth. That's awesome. You want to take the mic now and pass it on to your partner? All right. So we kind of know a little bit about you, but your name and what business you're in.
My name is Dyson Worth, and I'm a broker as well here in Orange
Beautiful.
County. We have a little tech project we're working on, so Jeet is obviously my tech expert. Not sure what to add. I pictured my son, he pictured his, and I don't know what else to add there. I mean, we just kind of, it was just my picturing my son playing. I just had a daughter too, and so family for me is the most important thing. So when I think of my business and I think of, just business is a family. So Jeet is my family now too. So I actually pictured him, not in a romantic way or anything like that, but just family, I think, and family and business kind of go hand in hand. So it was just picturing my family, Jeet joining my family now, and kind of have a brotherhood. So that was it, really.
That's beautiful. Can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
So to you, Dyson, right? Like the,
The
vacuum.
vacuum,
Yes.
yes,
Okay.
exactly.
So family is like what to you?
The future, I would say. I just had kids, so when you have children, it's kind of an outer body experience, I would describe it like that. So, when you're young, you picture your own success and your own life, and then you get married, and now your wife is in charge, basically. But when you have kids,
Fair.
you and your wife form this bond, but then everything you do is for the children. And so it's kind of an outer body experience for me. So ever since my son was born, everything that I do is kind of like imagining what the world and what the business is going to be like when he's kind of my age. So I don't know if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. So let me backtrack with you. So you see the future when you think of family, because now you see your kids as little, and then you see them big.
Right.
And your business reminds you of the future. So it kind of keeps you driving forward. And when you say it's an out-of-body experience, what was interesting is you mentioned that before it was kind of about you, and now you've literally had to step outside of your own body to see what all of this means. Does that excite you? What does that do for you?
Well, I'll give you an example. So when I was a kid, right, my mother would read, or not read, but just like sing nursery rhymes to me, at night and stuff. My son goes on YouTube, and he kind of scrolls through YouTube, finds his nursery rhyme, and I'm just like, this is different. And so I just look at it as a different world. And so I wouldn't say I'm afraid of it, but I would say that, there's you talked about fear, and I think there is a fear that the world that he's going to inherit is going to be completely different than mine. And so how do I kind of prepare, that for him. So
Beautiful. So your business.
now I'm gonna cry. Oh my God, is everyone crying?
High five. Real quick, round of applause for Dyson.
All right.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Actually, can I toss this over that way? So what these two gentlemen did is not easy. So again, before they leave, give them a pat on the back or a handshake or something, because I really appreciate you guys for that. So when I say listen intently, what did you all hear from that? So anyone can volunteer for this. I'm just curious, what did you pick up from that conversation? I'm not looking for anything specific, but I just want to know what resonated with you. This word resonated. I'm going to come back to you in a second. This word resonated, and you were here at the last one, right, sir? I have a twin. Yeah, oh, you have a twin. So your twin was here last time. So the word resonated. What I wanted you to pay attention to is when something hits you, literally, you could feel it in your chest, your stomach, your body, you get goosebumps, whatever that is, pay attention at all times in your life, but especially tonight, because that means there's a message for you there. So they may have talked about something. Maybe he mentioned his son, and you got struck by that. Maybe he mentioned the future, and that brought something up for you. Pay attention to those keywords. These are literally messages for you specifically. So, sir, what resonated for you?
So what I heard from both of them, which basically was both their lives met through a greater cause, which was their children. So, in business and also in personal life, we always have to ask ourselves, what am I doing this for? What's my why? And in my opinion, there is no bigger why than love, and love resonates first with family, and then it goes outward to the rest of the world.
Beautiful. Anybody else resonate with that message? Nice. Thank you very much. Round of applause. Yeah. And so here's something I want you to take note of in that interaction between these two gentlemen who are in business together now. You mentioned that the thing you envisioned was surprising to you because you didn't think you would have that in common because y'all are so different. So, yes, y'all. Your values are what bring you together. You are drawn to people because of values, not because of expression. And what I mean by that is you probably will be with a significant other who is the complete opposite of you. You will probably work with people who are very different than you. But what I want you to find is, what do we value? That's exactly the same. That's where it becomes really strong and foundational. If you do not share the same values with your business partner, with your coworkers, with your employees, I don't care how good they are, it's going to be really difficult for you to scale and grow in a way that feels fulfilling for you. Tony Robbins is one of my mentors, and I've coached under his programs for a really long time. And one of the things he talks about very often is success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. So as an example, again, respectfully to Kate Spade, by all means externally successful. Someone like a Robin Williams, externally successful. You've won Academy Awards. You've made people laugh all over the world. You've traveled here, there, and everywhere. Money was never an issue, and yet there was an emptiness. It wasn't fulfilling. So my encouragement to you is, while you are striving for success, also go deep into what brings you joy. And if your sons and your daughter bring you great joy, that should be a constant conversation in the company as well, especially if you're a small business, because you can still have those conversations. If you're a small to medium business, because if you really know somebody's why, that's how you connect to them. That's how you can communicate in a really powerful way. So let's jump into this. I don't know how to switch the slide. Thank you, Ivan. So our goal tonight, and we've already begun, is number one, I want to help you identify your communication frustration. And we'll do that really quickly. Everybody's got different things that they are frustrated with and how they communicate. So we'll figure what that is for you. Number two, I want to help you shift your story. Because here's the greatest thing. Nothing has meaning except for the meaning you give it. Half of the conversations I have with Jamie, and you know this, and with Tommy, is just helping them reframe the story. It's actually not that bad of a situation. And Tommy's going, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, and let's find out why. We shift the story, we shift the meaning, and all of a sudden, this one thing that looked like a failure immediately becomes an opportunity, just because he switched lenses. And it was that simple. There was an opportunity in front of him all along, an opportunity for connection, an opportunity for profit, and we didn't have to change any of the external conditions. All I had to do was help him shift the story. And here's what influences your story: your mood, your energy, your emotions that day, just is. So that's why it's gonna be really important for you to get a really incredible self-care practice, a really incredible spiritual practice, anything that keeps you grounded, because your emotions run everything. A lot of us like to say, no, Camille, I'm just a facts type of guy. I'm a data type of woman. I can separate both. You're also human, so you're gonna feel things. It happens. So your job is to keep yourself as emotionally centered as possible so you can make the clear decision. Now again, it's not always easy because you get a lot of stuff thrown your way. That's why I like to look at the story, because sometimes your emotions just got in the way of the story. The third thing, and this is where kind of the money's gonna come in tonight, I'm gonna teach you something called the 3 A's formula for sales communication. There are so many different tips and tricks as far as how to be a good salesperson. I'm not gonna teach you here tonight on how to do that, because there's a reason you're as successful as you are. But what I'm gonna give you is the framework that you can think of in every communication situation that you're in to make it more powerful. Because at the end of the day, sales is not trying to really convince someone that they should buy something from you. What is sales to you? I'm just curious. So many of you here are salespeople. What is sales? What do you think sales is at the end of the day? He said problem solving, providing a need. So you said transfer of emotion. Yeah, because if they trust you, they'll buy from you. Absolutely. So transference of emotion, providing a need. What was the other one again? I'm sorry. Okay, he changed his answer. That's how he got sold. He transferred his emotion to you literally in that moment. But see, if you notice, that was a totally emotional switch. There was no data behind that. It just hit you. And that was enough to get you going. What else? Yes. Finding a need and meeting it. Beautiful. Yes. A complete cycle of communication. Beautiful. Perfect. And this 3 A's formula, we're going to talk about that cycle. That's perfect. You were yawning. Okay, got it. She was stretching. And then the last thing is I'm going to give you an actual assessment tool for my information geeks and the people who like data. This is an actual psychometric assessment that I use with all my clients called DISC. How many of you have heard of DISC or have taken one before? Fantastic. It's one of my favorite things, but again, just like any tool, it's great to take it, but you have to know how to use it. So that's what I break down for people, is how to really get the juice out of it. And not just for you, but for the people you interact with on a daily basis. And then the last thing we're going to do tonight is I want you to make a commitment. Whenever I work with somebody, you know, it doesn't really matter how much information you get from me, I need you to take action. You've got to commit to something, whether it's one step, one conversation, one action step. Jamie, she just did something today that I thought was very sweet as an example. I'm probably going to overshare, but so she mentioned she was getting really frustrated between balancing work, home life, baby, husband, just everything, really overwhelmed. This is really common amongst women that I coach, especially in the working world, because as someone who is more feminine energy, I identify with that as well. The working world is very masculine. So most women will have to put on what we call a masculine mask. We've got to be logical, directive, commanding, and to be honest, sometimes that's very tiring for feminine energy. But then what happens is we take that and we go straight home. And so we're still in our masculine at home. So for anybody who's not quite understanding this, come to my next workshop and I'll explain that. But what I had Jamie do, I said, all right, here's what I want you to do. Before you go home after work, I want you to go stop at a park, a mall, anything, and do something without a mission. I don't care what you do. Don't pay attention to time. Don't have a task. Just walk around aimlessly. Don't have a goal. Do whatever feels good. And she was like, wait, what? Why would I do that? That doesn't make sense. And I was like, exactly. I just want you to do something that feels good. She's like, but I can't. I have to work. It has to be like, because she was so used to always having a task. So finally she did. A month later, I show up to this office for this seminar, and she says, Camille, I got you this gift. And I'm like, why? It's not my birthday. I didn't need anything. She goes, remember that homework you gave me one time to go walk around randomly? I went to the mall, and I just started looking for things, and it made me so happy, and I saw this gift for you, so I just wanted to give it to you. And that absolutely filled my heart. And I'm not telling you this so that you all can get me gifts, although you're welcome to if you'd like. But just to show you that something that became absolutely fulfilling for her by just her taking one action step, that her whole story was off. She was like, I don't know, what is the point of any of this? I'm wasting time. Turned into something that brought her joy, changed her mood. By the time she got home, she was in a better mood for her family. Her husband was happy, her baby was happy, and then a month later, she was able to give something to a friend that brought them joy. What I'm trying to tell you is you have no idea the ripple effect that you will have on the other people in your life from you making one new decision, even tonight. Do not underestimate you writing something in a journal, you taking a deep breath tomorrow morning. I promise you, it makes a huge difference in everybody's lives around you, including your kids, especially your kids. So, reflection time. How many of you here feel like you communicate really, really, really well? Like, super good. Fantastic. One person. Okay. Beautiful. So, my dear, for you, when you're communicating with another person, what makes you feel super confident that I'm communicating well, I'm hearing them? What space are you in your head and in your heart? Okay. And so that's how you feel like you communicate really, really well. Yeah, beautiful. And when oh, I'm sorry, what was that? And what makes her an amazing communicator? Tell me a little bit about how she communicates. What does her body do? What does she say to you? How do you feel when you talk to her? So explain to me, a grip meaning? She looks confident. She feels confident. Mm-hmm. And how does it make you feel when you communicate with her? Beautiful. So when you say she builds you up, meaning you leave the conversation feeling filled versus empty. Fantastic. So I'm going to switch it. Now, when you communicate with her, how does she make you feel? I'm going to pause right there. When you say respected, what does she do that makes you feel so respected? Yeah. And do you think her being an introvert has anything to do with the efficacy of her ability to communicate? Interesting. So that's your story. We'll come back to that in a second. So thank you. Round of applause for these two ladies for sharing. Are there any gentlemen in the house that feel like they communicate really, really, really well? Yes, sir. I appreciate that. You thought you did, okay. And what is your gauge? What's your meter of knowing that I did a good job?
Well, personally, I feel I'm very empathetic, so I can listen and position myself in a way that I can contribute to the person's argument or pain or whatever it happens to be. But I'm also very, like a typical male, I'm very much a fixer. So when I hear that some person, male or female, is explaining something to me, I'm listening in the moment, but at the same time, my mind is thinking on how can I help this person, which I found out was not necessarily making me a good communicator, because a gentleman was explaining to me the other day that he missed going to USC where his doctor is, and he couldn't get his blood pressure medication and so on and so forth. So, and he lives in Garden Grove. So after he explained all of that, I said, maybe you should be a little bit more diligent in finding a local doctor as opposed to having to go down to LA, because your blood pressure's kind of serious, which gave him a higher blood pressure, because that's not, he just wanted to talk.
Right.
He wasn't expecting somebody to tell him you're not doing enough. So I thought I was a good communicator, being a good listener, but then I realized I have to pay more attention as to what the person is doing in the moment, as far as why he's explaining that.
Interesting. Yeah. Thank you for that. So round of applause for this gentleman right here. I appreciate the honesty. If we could go to the next one, since I don't have too many people here who are raising their hand. So my next question for you, flipping it up a little bit, where do you face, go back real quick, Ivan? Yeah. Where do you face the most challenge in communication? Could be in sales, could be in your relationships, but since we are talking about sales tonight, you can also keep it to business. So where do you feel you face the most challenge? Now, everybody in the room should be raising their hands to give me something, because most of you felt like you were not communicating really, really well. So where do you face the most challenge? Where do you think you face the most challenge? Okay, so I'll go to you. Did you have the same one? Yeah, go ahead. Sure. So fear of rejection is where you feel you have the most challenge.
I'm thinking about my work environment. I own a retail shop. I got about early 20s that I hire. There are a lot of things that goes on. Teamwork, team chemistry, communication between my guys and the customers and whatnot. A lot of times I want to open up and be upfront about what they're doing wrong, what they're doing right, but I'm afraid it may lead to something big can of worm that I don't want to open up. That I tend to stay quiet, let it slide by, and maybe I talk with him maybe one-on-one, off hours and whatnot. And I have this feeling that I'm not handling that right. So I have this big fear of rejection, and so yeah.
And when you say the big fear of rejection, and how many people here, raise of hands, have ever felt a fear of rejection at some point? So you can take a look around. You're not the only one. Absolutely. But what's interesting about this is when you say, I fear being rejected, okay, so let's say you ask me something and I go, no, I don't think that's right. So now what do you think in your mind? What's your next thought?
My mind thinks that I respect your opinion. That's one way to think of it. I certainly think that my way of thinking is also an option of handling things. So I don't get too hung up on rejection, but still I get fear of that.
Mm-hmm. But what are you really fearing then?
Not making the right decision.
So it's a rejection of?
Rejection of by the peers or by the employees, that I'm not doing a good job as an owner, or losing respect.
There you go. So what you're talking about now is if I say this thing, my deepest fear of not being good enough to do this will be revealed. even if that fear isn't real. So if you notice, it really wasn't a fear of rejection, but it was, what is rejection saying about me? And my deepest concern, and I need you to know, that's everybody in this room, most people think that, is I'm not good enough to do this. And so I got to put on the Superman cape. I got to do all these things right so no one sees that I'm actually not perfect. You're not. But here's where it becomes interesting. And this is what I want to challenge you with a little bit. What if I were to tell you that you're going to have more of an impact with your team with vulnerability and straight honesty to a degree that you feel is safe? But for you literally to go into the room, and this is the phrase that can change the game for a lot of people. If you want to make a big change tomorrow in your relationship or you walk into your office, this is what you say. Hey, you guys, you know what? I don't normally do this, but then make the change. Whatever it is for you. So if it's, for example, saying, you know what? You guys, I don't normally do this, but I really need to talk about what's going on with this, this, and this. And I usually like to avoid it because I want to keep things cool and I want to make sure we're at peace and we're getting along with the team. But you know what? In my gut, I've been having sleepless nights over it. It just doesn't feel right anymore. And I want to become better as a leader. I want to become a better business owner. I need you to help me. Because the truth is, I don't always know the answers, but I'm doing my best. So can you help me out? So now, that deep fear of you not being good enough just got revealed, and so it's not as scary. And see, isn't it interesting? I bet you your employees, your coworkers would rise to the occasion to ride alongside with you. They just don't know how. Because as leaders, sometimes we don't give them the opportunity to show up because we feel like we have to do everything. But the phrase again, so you don't shock them, because you've been quiet most of the time, and all of a sudden you're just guns blazing in the sales room. You want to say, look, I know I don't normally do this, but I had an epiphany. I went to a seminar or whatever you want to say. Be blatantly honest and just like, look, this is what's going on in my head right now. Try that. Because if you do that more and more, that fear of not being good enough doesn't even begin to exist. Because now your focus is on, I just want to keep getting better. Because here's the truth, you're never going to be good enough. Every great leader wants to keep getting better and better and better. Happiness is due to progress. If you're not growing, you're dying. It's that simple. So if you ever get to a point where you feel really depressed or stagnant, just know you stopped growing in that area. If your relationship feels stagnant, you stopped wanting to learn about your partner. You stopped pursuing your partner. You stopped thinking there was more to learn about that person. If your business feels stagnant, you stopped upping your skill level. You stopped learning about your industry. You stopped growing. Just like plants, you look at nature, we're made from the same stuff. If they're not growing, they're probably dying. So it's the same for you. What is keeping you in constant growth? And for your people, that might be it. Just constantly, look, I want to keep getting better. I want us to keep getting better. So we're going to be in constant communication. And it's going to sting a little bit probably at first because that thing is there. But that's why I say if you keep jumping enough and not dying, it'll be much easier. And then after a while, you could care less about rejection or what rejection means for you. Make sense? Okay. Round of applause for this gentleman for volunteering. Anybody else? Communication challenge. I know I had a couple people raise their hands on this side. Was rejection the main one? Yes, ma'am. Yes. Sure. So can you give me specifics of what you mean, like they're not matching me, so it does this? Good. No, that's perfect. So I want you to hold on to that thought, because when we get to the disc profile and I break it down a little bit more for you, I'm going to show you how your particular style is not received well by other people's style. See, communication is not so much what you say, communication is how they receive it. So there's kind of a two-way street to it. Growing up, As a little background on me, so I grew up in a Filipino household, big Filipino family, and my parents are wonderful people, but they did not have a very good marriage. Communication was not their skill level whatsoever. It was constant fighting all the time. So, kind of growing up in that really hostile environment, I guess you could say I became a little practical psychologist because I always had to figure out how to ease the tension, how to figure out why can't they communicate? I don't get it. So if there's anything that I learned from my parents, is that for some people, a straight monologue is communication. Or for some people, it's like if I just dialogue with someone loud enough, they'll hear me, and that's communication. But never did they practice, how am I being received right now by my partner? That wasn't so much a consideration. It was more, I gotta get my point out, I gotta convince them that I'm right. I gotta get my point out, I have to win. And see, here's the thing, in business, winning is phenomenal. It feels really good. In relationships, winning is not so good. Because to win in one relationship means somebody lost. So in a relationship, you're not looking to win over your partner. You almost have to switch your mindset the minute you get into a relationship. You're looking to create a win-win situation for both of you. But it's a totally different type of communication process. So what I want to get to for you, it's not that your style is not well-intended. It's just that it can't be received by certain styles very well. So there will be a way for you to make a 2mm shift to still be authentic in your own way, but to help them open up to receive you. Does that make sense? And I'm going to show you that in a second. So if we can go to the next slide, I'm going to skip this one and I'll go straight to this. So when I mentioned that we're going to shift some stories, now that I know a little bit about your frustration, is that you've got rejection as an issue. This one is similar to rejection too, because I don't feel like I'm being received by this person. My words, my actions, it's not sinking into them. I'm trying to plant seeds and they keep popping out of the ground. Doesn't make any sense. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So I want to help you shift some stories. The first story I want you to shift, and these are just like little word tricks I like to use. They're called metacognition or metaprogramming. Imagine your brain is like a computer. Whatever you put into it, it does. So if I tell you like, hey, I don't know what's wrong with me today, guess what my brain does? Finding everything wrong with Camille. And literally goes into that mode and my whole body just begins to shut down. But often, that's where your thoughts go. That's why Jim Rohn would always say, you know, stand guard at the door of your mind. Be very, very aware of the thoughts that you think because you're programming yourself day in and day out. So one of the meta-programming shifts I would love for you to make is people hear the word no and they become defensive. Or they hear no and they're like, oh, I got to prove my point. I got to get you to a yes. I got to get you to a yes. That's what I'm going to do. So they just get into their own head. Next time you hear the word no, I want you to think of next opportunity. From here on out, no sounds like, okay, next opportunity. Let's talk about the next thing, because there might be a win there. But a lot of people take no as a heavy rejection. No to me, no to you, no to your skill level, no to what you just said. No, you're not good enough. So, new programming. Next time you hear the word no, and let's say you are trying to communicate something to a client or you know there's something there in their best interest and maybe they just didn't understand what you were trying to pitch or what you're trying to sell, I want you to think of next opportunity. And even I talk to a lot to startup entrepreneurs when they're doing their pitch and they get really drained. They're like, I just spent all this time pitching and they still don't take it. And then they spend another week just sorrowing away, being in depression. And I'm like, you could have just seen that as the next opportunity to go to the next investor. But because you internalized that story, you lost all that time. You lost all that creative energy, all that momentum we could have built. So a lot of the times it's just emotional training. So from here on out, no means fantastic. Can we go to the next slide? Another quick trick, and this one works really well for teams. When you hear the word problem, what immediately do you feel? If I come up to you and I say, I got a problem. Yeah, but what if I come up to you and I'm like, what's your name again? Ed. Ed, I have a lot of problems. How do you feel if a woman just came up to you and started saying all of that? Yes. What does your body feel? How do you feel, Ren? Do you feel energetic? Do you feel tired? He would say, next opportunity. Okay, there you go. All right, all right. So, Charles, I'm going to pick on you a little bit. Okay, so if I come up to you and I'm like, Charles, I have a problem. I got a problem. How do you feel right now? What are you experiencing in your body? What is it? But your eyes got real big, like you were kind of scared of me for a second. Yeah, you kind of like backed up, like, oh, okay. I don't know if I can fix it. I'm sorry. So language has a really powerful trigger for people. So when we're talking about how people receive things, I am a stickler when it comes to language. I love listening to what words people use and seeing how it affects them. And you can see it in their bodies. Like certain guys, if I say certain words, I'll see their throat like tighten up. And then other people, I'll see them completely relax and loosen. Or other people, they rise up to the occasion if I use certain words. So problems have a certain effect on people's bodies. Imagine you're going around all day telling people, look, we got a problem. We got a problem. This client's got another problem with this client. And remember what I told you, your emotions shift your stories. And then your story makes your decisions blurry or unclear. So instead of problems, what's a better word for us to use, do you think? Challenge. Starts with a P, though. Oh, we are Vanna Whiting this one. Sorry. Wheel of Fortune. I bought you a P. So you got one clue. What was that? Puzzles. And possibilities. That works, too. So let's play with puzzles. If I come up to you now, Ed, right? And I'm like, Ed, I have a puzzle for you. You smiled at me this time. Last time you shriveled up and got a little scared. Okay, how does that make you feel if you hear somebody say, I got a puzzle for you? Kind of a welcoming challenge. Charles, if I come up to you and I'm like, we got puzzles. Oh, see, there you go. Now he wants to play, right? So we talked about your sons, your kids. They're incredible inspirations. When we were little, we were very open and creative and playful. Tap into that a lot more in your business. We get too bogged down in the responsibility and the seriousness and everything's got to be heavy all the time. Play with it. You open up different neurons in your mind that literally can trigger different ideas. That's how companies like Apple get to the next level, because their whole slogan is think differently. I mean, their CEO at one point was the only guy rocking a black turtleneck and mom jeans, and he was making billions and billions of dollars because he was willing to go outside of the box and play. So for you all, instead of saying, I've got a problem, think of it as, okay, I got a puzzle now. So with the puzzle, you'll play with it, and you'll access a very different part of your brain to start becoming better puzzle solvers. So especially with the tech company that you guys are building up, it's nothing but puzzles all day long. Okay, let's go to the next one then. You got a lot of puzzles. Exactly. So here are the 3 A's, and you could take a picture of this and you could write it down, but this is the framework that I want you to pay attention to in all communication that you have with the clients and in sales. These are the 3 A's. If you can pay attention to this, you'll win any conversation or any interaction for that matter. The problem, however, is most people will only pay attention to 1, max 2 of these things. What's so important is you need to pay attention to all 3 in order for this to be a winning formula. So here are the 3 A's. Pretty simple. Awareness of self, awareness of client or other, and the third one, probably the most important and the least muscle flexed, active listening. Active listening. So when you were talking about, I'm sorry, I didn't catch her name, the woman with the glasses. Marilyn Ann? Cheryl, okay. So when you are talking to Marilyn, one of the reasons you probably feel so filled up is because she's actively listening to you. You feel seen, you feel heard. And for Marilyn, when Cheryl's listening to you, you feel really respected, you feel filled up. There's an active listening happening. So what I want you to pay attention to is when I say awareness of self, this is your story, your energy. So if you notice Marilyn, for her, she felt like she communicates really, really well because she brings loving energy into the conversation. Are you even conscious of the energy that you bring into conversations? A lot of the times we're just storming into rooms with whatever emotion we've got and we displace it on the other person. So my background is in psychology, and there's something called displacement of emotion. So I could be really upset at my boyfriend right now for something that he talked about last week, and I'm in interaction with Dyson, and he says something that triggers that fight, and then I lash out at Dyson instead. That's called displacement. It's not really his fault. Poor guy. He was like, I didn't do anything. I just told you I wasn't going to be there right on time, and I displaced that anger. We do that a lot without even knowing it. So that's why awareness of self is key. How well do you know your energy in this moment before you engage with this client? If you know it's a frustrating, intense talk with this client, go take the call outside and walk around, buy some trees, displace that energy onto the tree or whatever it is, so your energy is right before you speak to them. Your energy will introduce you before your words ever do, every time. There are so many people that I communicate with, and they are men and women of few words, but I could literally feel their presence because they're so mindful of the energy that they bring to that conversation. And so it's always a really fulfilling conversation. I feel like I just left learning so much, and literally they probably said 2 words to me. But it's because their energy, their emotions were really aligned. So what energy are you bringing to the conversation? The second piece, awareness of the client. So Ed, you talked a little bit about this, where you're paying attention to them, but when I say client, sometimes even knowing their disc profile, and I'm going to show you really quickly how to assess it. What's their body language? Are they open to you? Are they closed off? Are they kind of like this? Are they like leaning in? Says a lot. And then the last, and I also use frequent word use. Pay attention to the words people use. Even in the emails from your clients, there is something called mirroring. Have any of you heard of it? Yeah. So building rapport. Let's say your client is always using the word awesome. Guess what you should reply with? Oh, that's awesome. Because even if they don't realize it, they feel connected to you. Because it's your way of saying, I acknowledge what feels right for you to say, and I want you to feel good too when we're communicating. The whole point of this entire thing is for you to show somebody, I value you feeling valued. So I'm going to make an effort to do the things that obviously matter to you. That's what relationships are. They're a place you go to give, not a place you go to take. The minute you start treating a relationship as a place you go to take something or get a need met, that's where you start to have those head-bumping moments. So when you feel that, remember, am I contributing? Am I giving? What does she receive well? What does he receive well? So pay attention to their frequent word use. Yeah, I told you I was going to hit business and relationships. And the last one, active listening. So this one is pay attention to everything. Here is a tip for masculine energy, because I see men struggle with this more often than women. Men will always tell me, Camille, I listened to what she said. I heard everything, and she still told me I didn't hear her. And I repeated everything back to her. I don't get it. I don't know what to do. So, when women speak to each other, and I'm asking the men in the room, what do you notice about how women interact with one another when they're talking? What are their bodies like? What are their voices like? Are they animated? Are they quiet? What do you notice about women when they interact with one another? Any brave men want to share? Just observation. They're animated. So there's a lot of movement back and forth. What else? A lot of emotion. And when you say emotion, is it you see it, you hear it? What is it, all of it? All of it, right? There's a lot of, whoa, oh my God, no, you're pretty, no, you're pretty, no, oh my God, you're prettier, right? What else? Yes. To Ed's point. Interesting. So he said something really beautiful there. She's looking for more support than she is problem solving. But to be fair, how the masculine finds value in his presence in your life to support you is to solve the problem. Because if I can't help you figure it out, then what good am I to you? So it comes from the right place, just different communication styles. Remember we talked about it's how the other person receives you is just as important. Awareness of the client or the other party. So we got animated, emotional, needs support, not fixing. What else?
Usually what I notice, when guys talk, men than women. So the animated part usually, well, the body language. Women are a lot more expressive, and the language between them is closer. Whereas guys, we're talking, we're like this.
Mm.
We're using our analytical mind,
Mhm.
and then eventually maybe some emotion will come out, whereas women are on the spot.
Fantastic. So here is how, if you are speaking to someone who's more feminine energy, if we're talking about receiving it a certain way, when I say active listening, and the reason, again, I say it to men, not that women, we'll go to females too, because feminine energy, we have our moments too where we're not present. But just to help out some of the men in the group, because I hear this more often with men than I do with women. Active listening, especially if you have a female client or a female significant other. Do this next time that she starts talking, or it looks like she's going to go on a long rant. Take a very, very deep breath. Literally, take a deep breath in your mind. And I'm serious, just prepare yourself. Be like, she just needs to be supported right now. I'm going to try not to fix anything and just do this. When she talks, nod your head. You're not going to know it because most men, you're not nodding because you're just doing this. I got to fix this. I got to fix this. How do I fix this? And it's okay, but it's just what I'm asking you to do is just that, okay. Can you tell me more about that? Oh, she will melt. But what I'm saying, but it's to you, it might seem really silly, but that's why I say if you value the other person feeling valued, this is just something to be aware of, that it might not mean that much to you, but to her, it could mean the world. That could make her feel safe again in your presence. It can make her feel like, oh, you're the guy who can provide me a listening ear, so I don't go to some other person to provide me a listening ear. Something to pay attention to as well. And on the feminine side, how we can actively listen more to masculine energy is when he is telling a story, don't interrupt him. And I know it's hard because you're like, what? No, tell me more about that. Blah, 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 blah. Quiet. And the minute, for women as well, if you want to say something, take a deep breath and just be like, I'm going to let him finish. I'm going to let him finish. And just wait. And there will be a pause. And he's just going to sit there. And you're going to want to fill the silence, because that's what women do. We're always filling silence. We want more. Just wait. He'll say something again, probably a few seconds later. And what he'll say is probably an extension to the story, or, yeah, that's it. And then let it be done. It's okay. There's nothing more to be said. Receiving that person, because we both have to be present with one another. But what I'm giving you is an active listening. Pay attention to what matters to them. A lot of men also don't feel listened to by their female partners. I hear that a lot as well. And the reason is because women typically want to interrupt because we also want to help. We want to give unsolicited advice. Men like to fix. So, what you can do with every type of person that you work with, actively listen means pay attention to how their bodies also respond to you. So to go back to your point, when you're asking me, sometimes it feels overwhelming or I'm intimidating them, actively pay attention to it. And if you do, you could literally just, oh, you know what? Maybe I'm talking too much. Did you have any questions? And just create space. Because you're very empathic, so you can feel out if it's too much for somebody. But rather than continually trying to, like you say, dazzle, because that's your high energetic side, maybe this person is more introverted and they just want space. I don't want to be dazzled. There's too many sprinkles and glitter around. I'm overwhelmed by it. I just need time to process. And I would say that to them too. Be like, I'm sorry, do you want some time to process this or think about it? And you'd be shocked. They'd be like, yeah, actually, that's exactly what I need. Because your job in any moment, especially if you're leading the conversation as a salesperson, is, as Sammy said, to get them to trust you. How do you trust someone you feel safe in their presence? So all these tools that I'm giving you is how to create more trust with your client or to create more trust with your significant other, and that's by helping them feel safe. For women, it's supported and seen, and for men, it's respected and heard and understood. Okay, she listened to my story. Great. And then not challenging him too much. So, does that make sense as far as active listening on what to pay attention to? Okay, any questions on that? I know it's a lot. Y'all okay? Do me a favor, high five 2 people before we move on to the next thing. Just find 2 people to high five. All right. So I'm going to breeze through this section, and then we're going to wrap it up and make a commitment, okay? So I know people got to pee. I forget about that. You're human. How dare you? Okay. So for those of you who are brave enough to stay, you're going to get the good juice. So this, if you go to the next slide, Ivan, is I want to show you the DISC assessment. Again, how many of you have taken it before? Okay, cool. So very quickly, I'm actually revealing myself to you a little bit. So this is my DISC that I took probably a year ago. DISC. So what the DISC assessment does is it helps you to understand your communication and learning style. It's also a behavioral assessment. So when I talked about awareness of self, this is where great leaders take it to the next level, is when they really understand how they're wired. Because here's the truth, you can't really make positive change if you also don't know which way you're leaning. So I watch a lot of NBA. I'm super into the finals right now. I'm not a big LeBron fan, so I'm sorry for anybody who's a big LeBron fan. But he's not the greatest at free throws. And there's a lot of things he could probably make minor adjustments on to get better at free throws. But the truth is, if he's not aware of where his weaknesses are, it's hard to improve on it. Meaning, we could tell him, just shoot more, just keep throwing harder, throw this way, throw that way. But if we really got to the root of it and he paid attention to himself, he might realize, oh, every time I step up to the line, I don't breathe deep enough. Or my mind's going in a certain direction. Or I tend to use too much energy and I'm not paying attention to my finesse. But if you know how you're wired naturally, then we can begin to make micro adjustments. The second thing that DISC is going to help you do, once you become aware of yourself and where you typically lean in your behavior and your communication style, you can figure out, and this is for you, Marilyn, too, how you communicate to other people. Because now you could pick up on their DISC style. So quickly, here is what DISC stands for. So this was an assessment created by Dr. Marston. He's a psychologist. And basically, a D personality is someone that you would think is very dominant. D stands for dominance. They like directness. They are super results driven. I just got to get it done now. And if you're a high D personality, you will say what's on your mind. You'll get it done. And sometimes you don't even care what other people think. The most important word to you is results. I just want to see results, period. So that's a high D personality. The difficulty that some high D personalities can run into is that they might hurt a lot of people along the way because they might not ask for how are you feeling, because they're like, oh, I just got to get to the result. What matters is the result. Everything else doesn't really matter. It's not bad or good. It's just that's how that person is typically wired. So you know your high D personality if results is one big word for you. That's what I want to achieve. The second I, they use the word inducement. I like the word interpersonal better. But a high I personality is typically very experience-based. So this is like a Marilyn. She used the word bedazzled. That's a good indication that she's a high I, or dazzled, sorry, dazzled. And so this person loves experience. They're super excited. They want things to be awesome and fun. And they also move really quickly. But they're very emotional-based. They like relationships. They thrive on that. The next person is a S personality. So think of this one as submissive, stable, and this is the person who is more, they don't move too fast, but they're more go with the flow. I just want to make sure everybody is cool with it. Like if you're cool with it, I'm cool with it. Like that's what a high S personality is like. And they always need to know why. Why are we doing this? Who's going to benefit from it? Okay, I can see how that works out. And that's more of a high S personality. They're all about stability. Things need to feel stable. Everyone needs to be on board. I want a win-win for everybody. And then the last one is C. This one is what I like to call cautious. So this is my compliant, cautious, data-driven person. If you're a high C person, the big word for you is information. I will not move whatsoever until this is the most researched, well-studied, and I have everything I need to know about this thing. So here's what you'll notice. D and I personalities, high D, high I, are typically fast movers. D wants results, I wants the experience, they all want it to happen really, really fast. SC personalities are a little slower. They want to know why things are happening. C wants to do all their homework, they want all the information, they want the data, and that's how you know. The short of this, depending on where you are in the spectrum, you might be high D, high I, low S, high C. All this tells me is what are your natural behavioral patterns. So as an example, if I'm a high I, high S, what do you think my most, and look at the colored ones, don't look at the gray ones for now, the colored ones, what do you think my personality is typically like? What do I value most? If you have a high interpersonal and a high stability type personality. Relationships are really important to this person. What else? What type of words are they going to use, more than likely? Emotional words, non-emotional words? Yeah, emotional words. Nice. Now, if I'm a high C person, what type of language am I going to use, more than likely? Let's say I'm lower on the other pieces, but my C is very, very high. Do you think I'm going to be really data-based, or am I going to be more emotional? Right. Probably a lot of bullet points, really long emails, always asking, well, is the easement on the 0.567 side, or is it on the 0.8253 side? Yeah, high C personality, right? Now, if I'm high D, what is their email going to look like? Yes, no, call me, okay, more than likely. They don't mean harm, they're just trying to get to the point. How many of you here kind of have an idea of what you think you are, more or less? Okay, cool, fair. Now, how many of you here have a partner or significant other that's the complete opposite of you, more than likely? Yeah. So, what I just want to show you, imagine if you're a high I person like Marilyn, let's just assume that you are, and she's using more emotional words like awesome, experience, fun, dazzled, and she's got a client that's a high C and a low I. So we know they don't move very fast, and they need a lot of data, and they're not very emotional. How would you approach them now? Yeah, and see, notice for her, that's junk, but I promise you, to the high C, how many of you here probably think you're a high C, a data person, more informational, lots of research? If she brought you a lot of paperwork and numbers and Excel sheets, how would you feel? I know exactly what's going on. I feel better about it. Feels happy. That's like gold to him. Junk to you, gold to him. No, that's okay. But see, that's what I'm saying. That's why awareness of your client is so key, because now you know I want them to feel valued. So, last thing I want you to do, if we could go to that last slide, and here's what I want you to end with. You could do this on your own time, but this is an exercise. You can take a picture of it too, so you could do it at home if you'd like. I want you to think about a client you're struggling with right now. What do you think their disc profile is? They might be exactly like you. They might be a high D. Actually, Camille, they're always just super short, get to the point. This person's super emotional. They're really high I. They're always saying awesome, experience. Is there going to be guacamole there? Is there going to be music? That's how you know someone's a high I. Are they high S? They're always saying, well, you know what? Let me check in with my wife. I'm not really sure how I feel about this yet. I need a little bit more time. I don't know. I want to make sure everybody's on board. Or are they high C? Well, I need the 52-page document. I need to know escrow's name, fax number, where they're originally from, also where they went to school. I need to know what their spiritual background is. Like, that's the high C personality. They want to know a ton of details. So knowing what you know now, how would you approach them based on this new insight? And here's my quick tips for you. If the client is a high D, somehow use the word result or get it done. They want to hear that a lot. We can get it done. We'll get it done quickly. This is the result that we're going to achieve. Very important. If they're more a high I personality, like me, relationship-based, you're going to say, oh, it's going to be a great experience. You're going to meet a ton of people. It's going to be a lot of fun. You could have such great family parties in the backyard. You know, you can throw little barbecues over here. Everyone's going to have a good time. If it's a high S personality, it's so nice to have this open space because you can imagine you could have people here in the kitchen, people here on the couch, people kind of doing what they want to do. Everybody's going to be happy. Everybody wins in this space. And the last thing, if they're a high C personality, bullet points and data. Here are the information, use the word information. Here's the information you needed to know about this, this, and this, and then list it. Boom, 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 boom. Here are the resources that go with your information. They will love you, absolutely fall in love with you. And so if you know how you're wired, we can go to the last slide. If you know how you're wired, you can make the proper adjustments. And this is the last thought I want to leave you all with tonight. Successful people ask better questions. And as a result, they get better answers. So when you start thinking about your own DISC style, awareness of self, you think about the client or your significant other, awareness of client or other. And the last thing, you're actively paying attention. Does this person need more space? Does she need a head nod? Does he need me to be quiet? Like really pay attention to their body. You build the trust, the transference of emotion that Sammy was talking about, to be able to get that no into a yes, or, oh, okay, I can finally see it your way. And the very last slide is just my information. So if you guys got a ton of value tonight, which I hope you did, my job I know went a little long, so you'll have to forgive me, but I like to get through everything as much as possible so you can hit those results in your own business. You can definitely visit the site. I have a workshop coming up in 2 weeks. So this one's on the law of leverage. So this is where I talk about how to find out what your wealth dynamics profile is. It's a totally different assessment. That's about how to leverage your own wealth profile and build the right team. So this one is about team building and what personalities you should be working with. So to wrap it up, what I'm going to have you do is just make sure you get 4 high fives before you leave tonight, and then definitely get a hug from me, because I like to hug people. But I thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your energy and attention, and I'm wishing you all the best and success and prosperity. Thank you so much.
Okay, so we're gonna re-raffle this card out. So I went ahead and picked, and it is Angelo Falzone or Falzone. Okay, so first, the first raffle we're gonna have is for the iPad. Okay, so for the iPad, now here's the way we're going to do this raffle. What we're going to do is we're going to get the survey cards, and Ivan is going to shuffle them up. Oh, gosh, I thought I was going to get tackled right now. I just thought I was going down. Can't read it. We got to do it again. Just kidding. Okay. Can't read the last name. First name's Rudy. There you go, Rudy. Okay, so now the last one that we're going to give out. Now, this is a UpLift Seminar free 30-minute coaching award with Camille. Okay, so 30-minute coaching award with Camille for free. Okay, but it's not free, but it's free for the winner. It's free for the winner. So you get a 30-minute coaching. So we're going to go ahead and do this again. So close your eyes, guys. No, you didn't have the right texture on the cards. Okay, so the winner is Jesus Medina. Okay, well, so that's great. That's outstanding. I hope everybody had a great time tonight. Feel free to hang out. There's plenty of food. There's some desserts out there. There's plenty to talk about now, right? We're all going to be a little bit better with communication that we could go ahead and talk about. So again, from the whole Lifetime Realty Uplift Seminar, thank you so much for coming out. We enjoyed having you here. Hopefully, and we're very, very confident that you received something tonight, not to forget, but to put into practice. May your business thrive. Thank you for coming.
All the crazy that did tonight, those would be the best memories.